All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to decode a really powerful idea, one that's inspired by life itself, genetic algorithms. We're about to see how the core principles of evolution have been grabbed and used to solve some of the absolute toughest problems in computing.
Okay, so let's jump right in with a concept I'm sure you've heard of, one that pretty much runs the show for all life on Earth: survival of the fittest. It's this simple but really profound idea that nature is always running its own little optimization program. It's constantly picking out the individuals that are best suited for their environment. And that right there, that's the core inspiration for the algorithms we're going to break down today.
And this, of course, is the heart of Darwin's theory of evolution. It's this idea that nature is constantly refining and improving life, generation after generation. I mean, think about it. It's a slow, steady, but incredibly powerful optimization process. It's literally created all the amazing diversity of life that we see all around us. Now, this whole process only works because of these fundamental building blocks. You can think of them like a biological instruction manual, right? The chromosomes are kind of like the books, the DNA is all the text written inside, and the genes are the individual sentences. Each gene gives a very specific instruction, and it's this incredible coded information that genetic algorithms have learned to read, copy, and even rewrite.
All right, so how on earth did this biological genius make the jump from the natural world into the digital one? It's a really cool story, actually. It's all about taking inspiration from millions of years of evolution and just applying it to the modern challenges we face with computers.
And this was the big, groundbreaking question that computer scientists started asking themselves. Instead of trying to program one single perfect solution from scratch, what if? What if we could just create a whole bunch of potential solutions and then let the best one, evolve through a kind of digital evolution? Yeah, this idea definitely didn't just pop up out of nowhere. I mean, its roots go all the way back to Darwin in 1859. Then, fast forward to the 1950s, as computers started getting more powerful, you see the first little hints of something called evolutionary computing start to bubble up. And then finally, in 1975, a guy named John Holland took all these concepts and really formalized them into the genetic algorithm that we know and use today. So how does this digital evolution thing actually work? Well, you know what? It's not nearly as complicated as it might sound. It basically follows this clear life cycle, this loop that just keeps getting closer and closer to a really great solution with every single turn. Yeah, it follows this surprisingly simple but really powerful 5-step loop. First, you start with a totally random bunch of solutions. Then you test how good each one is. After that, you pick the best ones to become parents. Then you combine them to make children. And to keep things interesting, you throw in a few random changes here and there. And that's it. This loop just repeats over and over for tons of generations. Okay, this is where it gets really fun, because we can take this kind of abstract idea and make it totally real with a great example. So I want you to imagine we're playing the part of nature, okay? And our one and only goal is to evolve a population of giraffes to have the longest necks possible. Why? So they can reach those delicious high-up leaves, of course. So we kick things off with our first totally random population. See? Each giraffe here has a chromosome, which is just a string of ones and zeros that represents its unique genetic code. And that code translates directly into what we call a fitness score, which for our little experiment is just the length of its neck. Simple as that. All right, next up, the algorithm looks at every single giraffe and picks the fittest ones to be parents. I mean, this is pure digital survival of the fittest in action. The giraffes with the longest necks, they get the best shot at passing on those amazing genes. And now for the really cool part, the digital breeding. The chromosomes from the chosen parents are combined, or crossed over. So here, you see a piece of Ron's genetic code gets mixed with a piece of Zoe's. And what do you get? You get new offspring, like Ron Jr. here, who's inherited a mix of their traits. And look at that. In this case, he actually ends up with an even longer neck, a whopping 6 feet. And just like in real nature, you get these random mutations. They just happen. So here, a single bit in Audie's chromosome flips from a 0 to a 1. That tiny, random change results in Audie Jr. having a longer neck than his parent. It's like the ultimate wild card, you know? It can introduce brand new and sometimes even better traits into the population. And this is the result. It's a brand new generation that is, on average, fitter than the one before it. We even have a new champion, Ron Jr., at 6 feet tall. Now imagine repeating this cycle. selection, crossover, mutation, not just once, but hundreds or even thousands of times. You can see how the algorithm could evolve a truly incredibly effective solution.
Okay, so this isn't just some fun thought experiment with giraffes, right? This is a seriously powerful tool for solving some of the world's toughest computational problems. We're talking about everything from engineering design and financial modeling to crazy complex scheduling.
See, in computer science, there are these monsters called NP-hard problems. A classic example is the traveling salesman problem. Imagine trying to find the single most efficient route for a delivery truck that has to visit thousands of different cities. The number of possible combinations is just astronomical. Checking every single one to find the absolute perfect route, it's practically impossible. It would take forever. And this is where genetic algorithms are just brilliant. They don't get bogged down trying to find that one single perfect needle in a cosmic haystack. No way. Instead, they quickly evolve a whole population of really good needles. And here's the key takeaway, right? A good enough solution that you can have today is almost always way more valuable than a perfect solution that you might get years from now, if ever. So it's really crucial to understand their strengths and their weaknesses. On the one hand, they're super fast, they're amazing for these crazy complex problems, and they give you a whole list of good options to choose from. But they're total overkill for simple problems, and they don't guarantee you'll find the one single best solution in the entire universe. It really is a trade-off, a trade-off between perfection and just getting the job done. So where does this incredible mix of biology and computer science go from here? I mean, the potential is just immense, especially as we keep getting better and better at these nature-inspired techniques. When you boil it all down, the real power of this idea is in its elegant simplicity. It's just a cycle of continuous improvement. It's a feedback loop that refines and enhances solutions over time, all driven by one simple rule: reward success. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. I mean, from designing more efficient jet engines to discovering new medicines, or even creating AI that can adapt all on its own, if we can teach a computer to evolve, the possibilities for what we can solve are, well, they're pretty much endless. So what problem should they solve next?